All right. I have Dewana Bonner, DJ Carrington, and head coach Stephanie White. Steph's going to do a quick statement, and then we're going to take questions in the room and then on Zoom. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I think, Minnesota came out and, they were the aggressor tonight. They were aggressive on the defensive end. They were physical, wouldn't let us get into our offense. They responded to every run that we had and it had an answer to every run. There's some things that we as coaches have to clean up for our team a little bit offensively and try to give us some easier looks that we can get to on the offensive end of the floor. But it's a series for a reason, and we got to go home, regroup, and get ready for Friday.
Taking questions in the room.
For both players, there were a lot of dicey moments, obviously, between the two teams. How do you think that impacted just the game tonight?
Oh, you got it. It's playoffs, so it's gonna be physical. It's gonna be, I guess, dicey moments. It's win and go home type of, deal. So everybody wants it, and emotions are high, but we're just two competitive teams going after it. That's about it.
Dejanay, there was that moment where you had that hard foul. Not going to ask you about the hard foul, but Mabry really kind of came in there and helped you kind of stay in the game and calm down a little bit. Just what is it like having teammates that are so close and can kind of help you in those moments?
I mean, we all kind of have to keep each other calm and focused on the goal ahead. And we know that whoever we're playing, they're going to try to test us, whether it's with hard fouls, whether it's, chirping, whatever it is. And we just have to stick together and make sure that each other stays focused on the goal. So that's really what you saw there.
And then, Coach, last one for me. Did a really good job kind of limiting Nafisa Collier's impact. Anything that you saw that worked kind of particularly well against her, or?
I mean, I think AT always does a really good job of just making things difficult for her. I felt like, we got into our switches. We just tried to make catches difficult. We tried to make shots difficult. But certainly, they showed as a team, why they've been successful. They're so balanced. And so, yes, we were able to limit Fee, but they got off from the 3-point line, and that's something that we have to remedy. We got to keep them off the offensive glass. I mean, when you're talking about two of the best defensive teams in the league, possession matters. Every possession matters. And so giving up, 11 offensive rebounds, that's 11 extra possessions that they got that we needed. And so we got to clean up some of the details and bounce back.
Coach, it seems like this will be a physical series the whole way through. Just how do you try and find some offensive precision when it is going to be bumping and grinding the way that it appears to go?
Yeah, I think we've got to give some different looks in our off-ball action. I thought we relied too much on over dribbling, sometimes the two-man game a little bit too much. We got to try to get some off-ball screening, off-ball movement, clear out some space. Their pressure caused us to be really tunnel vision. We kept the ball on one side of the floor. So, we've got to as coaches, give a few looks that we know that we can get to that allow us to get the ball moving, allow us to get a little bit of separation and freedom to create rotations.
Coach, what do you tell your team in a series like this where you're trying to avoid the hard fouls, the text, the things that can kind of change a game when everything is so emotional?
I don't think you do. Like, it's an emotional game. That's part of why we love it, right? Like, we're competitors, they're competitors. We've got great players, they've got great players. I think we just have to make sure we channel it in the right way. Everybody wants to win. Everybody's fighting for a championship. Everybody's fighting to position themselves to win the ball game. So, I think it's just about channeling it in the right direction and making sure that we keep the main thing and stay locked into what we need to do to be successful.
Any other questions in the room?
Dewana, how long into the game does it take for you to tell the way the officials are going to call the game and adjust to that?
I don't know. I mean, we knew they were going to be physical from the jump. We knew this is what they do, and we really can't rely on the officials. It's on us to still, play through that and battle through that. But we knew the game was going to be like this. This is not a surprise. This is how they play. This is how they've been playing all year. So that's on us that we came in and I don't know if we didn't have that mindset of that's what they're going to do, or we just kind of folded to their pressure, but not really on the officials. They're going to call the game the way they want to call it no matter what. So
It seemed
I
like
think
both teams were okay with it.
yeah,
Okay
I mean,
with it.
we're both physical teams. We both play defense. So it's just on us to, how we're going to counter that.
All right, taking questions on Zoom, starting with Jordan.
Hello, my question is for Coach. So we saw Minnesota match the physicality, especially in that first half. There was several shot clock violations. I guess how you just counter that going into game 3?
Yeah, we've got to talk about just some different entries that we can have that allow us to get the ball into offense, and some movement patterns that allow us to get some freedom and some separation. I felt like we can focus a little bit more on our off-ball screening, some of our execution, in our screening, and then we can get ourselves, hopefully get them in a couple of different rotations. I think we got to be a little bit more aggressive to the rim too. I thought their physicality put us on our heels a little bit. When we started attacking the rim, in the second half, some good things happened. And the other thing is I feel like we missed some opportunities in transition. That especially in that first quarter, there were a lot of stops in that first quarter. Not a lot of shots went in. I felt like we missed some opportunities to get out in transition, and we're really good when we can get the ball out and we can push. And so just I think reiterating and showing some of those missed opportunities. But we're going to be fine. We're going to be ready to go, and we're going to make our adjustments and look forward to Friday.
And then just
Ending with Julian.
This is for anybody or coach specifically, but you guys have been in enough of these types of series to know the value of winning one on the road, and then going up 1-0 and being able to go back home with it. Do you take anything away from that from this trip with that, and also is it just a matter of how good these two teams are that the floor doesn't matter, the home court doesn't matter?
I think I think that this is the way a series is, right? Like, obviously a goal is to win every game. But when you can steal one on the opponent's home court, that's important. Now, I do think that we're two veteran teams. We're two very similar teams, and your defense always travels, right? So whether you're at home or whether you're on the road, I'm not really sure that it matters. I think that our players have been around enough. We're both going to be defensive minded, and I think at the end of the day, you see the shooting percentages is what it comes down to. So I don't know that it really matters in a series like this.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Courtney, there were obviously a lot of intense moments early in the game. Seemed like maybe a couple times a fight might happen, but you all seem
Folks
determined.
ain't fighting, man. It's playoff basketball. Folks ain't fighting.
Well, it seemed like you all were determined to match their aggression early in this game. How did that affect this outcome?
I mean, like you said, we got to match their energy. First game, they was chirping and chatting, so we had to give it back to them. Playoff basketball, man.
Yeah, there's not much more I can add. I mean, I think we weren't happy with how we approached the first game. I think we played okay, enough to only lose by 3. We were in it the entire time, but we knew that we had to take it to another level. And we had to have each other's backs. We got to go out there and fight for each other, and I think we did a good job of that tonight.
There she go. So big dog. Sorry, I'm late.
Courtney, can you just talk about how you were able to kind of shake off probably a little difficult first half and come through with the way you did in the second? I think you had half the team's points in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think I just was a lot more aggressive. First half, I was being a little passive, kind of, looking more to facilitate. And yeah, I had to turn it up. I realized, we was kind of struggling offensively, so I was getting to my spots and knocking them down.
And I'd love to know what you and Marina were discussing there during the dead ball in the third quarter there.
Oh, we was chatting. I told her she couldn't guard me. And she told me I ain't have that many good games. I said, so you think you pressure? Because I'm really pressure. A little back and forth action. It's playoffs, man. We're gonna talk a little bit. We'll be cool again after we done playing.
Coach, can you just talk about the balance of this, especially from the bench that you got tonight on a night when Fee
Yeah.
wasn't hitting her shots, she was doing everything else, wasn't hitting her
Yeah.
shots, but you were able to still kind of get past this team with the kind of balance that you've kind of shown all year.
Well, we talked about, even before the start of the series, that our bench was going to be important. We talked about that just in general about playoffs. And, a team that has a bench that shows up and contributes is going to have a big time advantage because there's so much pressure on the first five and the scouting reports, et cetera. And so they need help. And we were able to get that tonight, with each of the three that played, contributed in a variety of ways. And it's good to see Chechi back out there. But that getting 16 points off the bench was big. And, like Court said, or whoever just said, Fee did everything else, but just for whatever reason struggled with some of the shots she was getting. It's a hard game, it's physically hard. She'll get more and more comfortable there, and and then we have a collection of players. I just love, obviously Lan, kind of bouncing back, and frankly Courtney bouncing back, from game one and recognizing, where they could help us and both ends of the floor. And so, just a collective effort. That's what we do. And I think that's what we saw tonight.
The Sun players are saying the same thing. You guys, this is playoff basketball. There's going to be some hard falls. There's going to be some talking. There's going to be some, depending on what the refs allow, some pretty, physical action. You have to believe that you have a team that's kind of built to play in that kind of series, don't you?
Yeah, I liked the moments that we had. Courtney driving for a layup. The pressure that they're trying to apply. There's a counter to everything that a defense does, and recognizing in the first quarter we didn't do that as much. I thought we started really finding our way on what was open, and no pass was going to be easy. We did have 10 live ball turnovers, and it's not a space we want to be in. But I think just, again, more we play them, the more we're understanding what's available, and off ball screens, on ball screens. I think we had an aggression about us that was necessary when you play these guys, and you have to be physically and mentally tough because they sure are.
For Lan, shooting 6 of 8 from the field tonight and 3 of 4 from 3, especially coming off of game one where it seemed like everyone was struggling from the field. Just how good did that feel to see that number of shots go down and just get that momentum going offensively?
I mean, it's almost a relief, because as a shooter, like, you take hundreds of thousands of shots in your career, and before the game I'm knocking down everything in the warm-up, so I know I'm capable of making those shots. So when you see the hard work that you put in pay off, it's all worth it, and I think kind of similar with Courtney, you got to keep shooting your shot to make it. And so I know I'm a 3-point shooter, so when I'm open, I'm going to keep shooting it. And I think I get that confidence from the people around me as well. If I miss a couple, everyone's telling me your next one's going in. And that's the mindset that everyone kind of perpetuates on this team.
Coach, I want to say, I think I remember the last time Courtney's family was courtside. You had made a comment that maybe there was not going to be any more family on courtside. What did Courtney have to do to convince you to let them be courtside again?
She didn't ask me. She just did it. No, of course we want their families here. It's obviously a joke, and I'm thankful that a second half happened. Otherwise, I might have had to step in for the next one.
I'm glad I changed that narrative.
And
I
Courtney,
love Pops being courtside.
That's
man.
right. We want Pops there.
and Courtney, just what was it like having your mom and dad there, big supporters? They were animated through the whole game. Just what did it feel like playing in front of them in this atmosphere?
Yeah, well, Mom's is at the crib, so she not here, but Pop's sitting courtside. Yeah, man, like I said, I've been struggling a little bit with him here, so I had to try and change that narrative. So hopefully, they hype to see him courtside now.
This is pretty much to all y'all. Just how does it feel to have Maisha out there, banging down low? 14 minutes, she has 7 points, impactful minutes, but she's basically the enforcer on this team. So just how does it feel to have somebody that is going to have your teammates back, but at the same time, make sure that she's still executing at a high level?
I'll let you guys take it.
Maisha just like you said, brings that physical presence, and when you have someone like that coming off the bench as well, like that's someone you don't want to play against. Like you see her come on the court and you're like, shit. You know, like when you've got someone like who you've got coming off the bench, like who like is a physical enforcer, but is also like a great player. Like she's a great passer. She rebounds so well. She sets great screens. Like she does the little things really, really well. And we rely on her to come off the bench and, you know, bring that fear, because you can't sleep when our bench comes in. And I think she is a big reason as to why.
So obviously pretty low scoring first quarter, even first half. And it just, what does that speak to just the two defenses that are going up against each other in this series, and just how aggressive you guys have been playing and preventing anyone from really getting a shot in?
I think the defenses were good, but they weren't that good. We all of it, like all the shots. I think we were 2 for 19 as the two teams on the floor, and there were some open shots in there. So yeah, both teams are playing defense, but I think that would be a stretch to say that was all defense that kept it 12-10 in the first quarter. Luckily, we settled in. Obviously, so did they, and then we got back to a normal basketball game after the first quarter.
This is for both players. Is there a moment in the game that was super challenging for you? And then how were you able to overcome it?
I ain't gonna lie, the whole game is challenging. But Cheryl keep telling us that's why people cry when they win championships, because it's hard. And it's hard. I ain't gonna lie, but we sticking in there. I think our biggest thing is that we stay together. We never fold. We keep our composure. And that's a testament to this team and who we are as people. So we gotta keep it up there, man. Keep it up there.
Share a lot.
Hi, John.
Hello.
What the hell are we doing here?
I don't know.
Who let John in?
Who
Who let John in? Good to see you, John.
Good to see you. The Lynx obviously have a long history of playoff success, championships and things. This group itself is newer and building its own legacy, its own tale. Intense games like this, getting in scraps, having each other's back, how much does that do to kind of even further the chemistry and get this group even strengthened for the
It goes a long way, because I believe to be successful, you do have to experience adversity. You have to get through the adversity, go through it, go through the lumps, bumps, all of that, to get to the promised land. It's the only way, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I think that, they separately have playoff experience, but obviously collectively as a team, this is our first experience together. And I know I was, obviously disappointed we didn't win the first game, but I felt really, really good about this team's ability to bounce back. And I said, the great thing about this group is they just have to be themselves. They don't have to be somebody that they're not. And if we keep being ourselves, we can navigate any difficult time, right? They know exactly how to do it. And it comes from different people. There's no one that's carrying a heavy load all the time. It's shared, and it's really special to be around.
Kind of piggybacking off that, you knew that they were going to make some runs, and they did make some runs. Alana answered one with the 3, Courtney, 2 big ones. I mean, can you just talk about the way this team, answered the punches you knew were coming?
Yeah, we've seen that throughout the season. It's kind of, something I don't know if they talk about it or not. They take pride in, but they don't get down. I think that's the key. You can't give up big runs, and you got to be able to answer. And this team's been able to do that. We have to manage the end of games better against this team in particular. Understanding, in clutch time, what's going to be happening, and 3 missed shots, 3 turnovers last 4 minutes. It also happened in Connecticut. We had a double-figure lead. And so I think the more we're in these spaces together, the more we're going to be able to navigate through the remainder of the series.
Sure, how important are Courtney and Maisha in a series like this where you have to match a team like the Suns' aggression early in the game?
Courtney and Maisha?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first thing she did when she got in was she drove the basket for a layup. And it's different. So it's a different skill set. Lana actually got free a couple times as well. But to have somebody come in that aggressive, Courtney gets so much attention when she has the ball in pick and roll. And it's appropriate that she gets the amount of attention that she does. And so they're not going to let it happen easy. And so her aggression, and I think I shared this before the game, after game one, Courtney took it pretty hard and came in the next day, which was yesterday, and watched a little video. She started ideating about, some things that she could do. We asked her, to just get a little more assertive, a little more aggressive, and whatever that looks like is up to Courtney. We told her some things we thought that could be there, but she had to make her plays. And so I think it's a mindset that she understands that this team desperately needs her, to be the player that she was. And the first half shots didn't go down, but the way she did it in the second half, that aggression. So both Courtney and Maisha obviously are crucial to that aggressive piece for sure.
For Courtney and for Lan, you both have talked, multiple times over the season, just how much you both, mean to each other and how you came here sort of together in free agency and wanted to stay together after playing in Chicago last year. Courtney, you mentioned getting to do a lot of things in Chicago last year, but not really play playoff basketball. So just getting this chance to play playoff basketball with each other here and win a game in the semifinals and get one step closer to the finals and doing it together, just how rewarding of an experience is that for the two of you, and just to both play so well in the fourth quarter and close the game together?
This really my dog for real. Like for real. And I know what she can do because we was in the trenches, Chicago. So I think like her coming here, us being able to do this together, seeing her successful, seeing her get rewarded for her defense, seeing her knock down shots tonight, man, I'm so happy for her. I'm so proud of her. I love seeing her confidence continue to grow and grow. And this really my dog. So she gonna keep going crazy, and we gonna keep doing it together.
It's hard to back up. No, Court's right. I think what we played through last year together makes like what we're doing right now worth it. And I think like when you play with someone for a couple of years and you're able to like go through some hard stuff, like what Cheryl said, like adversity brings you to success. Like we went through some adversity and now we're experiencing success, and the fact that we're able to do it together makes it even better. Because like, we know what we've had to deal with, like no one else knows, and we're the only ones, and we're on the other side, and we've got an experience that we can bring to this team that's unique. And it's so cool that we can enjoy it together. Like, I mean, far out. Like I remember watching Courtney as a rookie and being like, who is this chick? Like constantly talking, like
with the
mid-range.
long hair.
Yeah,
no,
I didn't see her with the long hair, unfortunately. But like mid-range game, like the best I've ever seen. And so the fact that I've been able to get to know her as a person as well as a player, like I'm so grateful for that opportunity, because like she's one of the best. Like she's pulled me through some stuff that's been really hard for me personally too. And it just like, it's what you play for, like to have teammates like this, to be able to win with people like this.
This is to either player. It's kind of fitting both of you are sitting up here. Cheryl, after game one, said, Lan's going to get out of this. She'll be all right. She'll be bounced back. Courtney, Cheryl said, we need Courtney. Just what is it about Coach Reeve that just instills that confidence, and what's that confidence from her mean to you guys?
I mean, Cheryl, the best to ever do it. See what I'm saying? Like she got the blueprint. So to have somebody like that instill so much confidence, put us in positions to be successful, believe in us the way that she does. I mean, you can't help but to go out there and go crazy in a good way. See what I'm saying? Because she give us the blueprint. She put the time in. She really get to know us. So when she is on us hard and coaching us hard, we know that it's coming from a good place. We know that it's because she sees that we can be better. So I'm super grateful. I don't know if I tell you enough, Coach, but I'm so grateful for you, because I feel like you put me in such a great place, because I don't know what my future was gonna look like. And then I feel like you came along, you and your staff, and y'all really instilled that the dog ain't never go away, but y'all really woke it back up. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, Coach, for real.
That's a nice talk. Thanks for asking that. That's really feels good. Yeah, what else you got?
And that will wrap the post.
Appreciate y'all.